on in all the topics we talk about, whether it's hip hop, whether it's sports, whether it's politics. So we're gonna start off with hip hop, and there's an elephant in the room.
Oh God, there's an elephant like yelling and screaming at this point.
So the hip hop topic that obviously taken over our news feed for the last couple of months, but it got worse because CNN released a video of what transpired with Diddy and Cassie back in 2016, 8 years ago. So if you're hiding under a rock, I'm just catching you up to speed. CNN got a hold of the hotel footage of Diddy pretty much stomping out Cassie in a hotel. It looked like a 5-star hotel. I don't know, but we all, I think every journalist discussed this last year when the allegations came out, and then immediately he settled within 24 hours. So I think the general consensus was this is over. He was out there in Miami strolling like everything was all good. Then we saw the feds raid his house. And then now we got a video. So where do you think this leaves Diddy at within our culture of hip-hop now?
How people perceive him, or what's his position right now? Well, how he's perceived as a monster. But I think, you always heard the quarrel, the little comments in the background about him, but you never seen anything like visual-wise until then. So until now, for now it solidifies everything that everybody been saying. Even if people are not, even if it's not true, it just looks bad. As far as with hip-hop, he was already on the borderline with that anyway from everything he was doing. Because let me make it abundantly clear, like Puff did a lot of things that was very disgusting. If just can I go down like maybe a list of things? Go. Like, for example, everybody know what he did with Big. He brought him out to L.A. when you had no business bringing him out there. And then he ended up not coming back. That was on him. That's not anybody else.
And he tries to absolve himself from that, saying he had no idea what was going on in the West Coast. But go ahead.
Yeah, and then, I think another thing, and I never forgot this, and I kind of like stopped listening to too much of what he was doing anyway at that point. He made, remember when MTV making a band? He made those young kids of color walk down the street.
Not down the street, but
walk miles. Like, if anybody if you're not a New Yorker or you never lived in New York, he made them walk from Midtown Manhattan to downtown Brooklyn for some cheesecake. Do you know how degrading that is?
Can we pause there?
Go ahead.
And I hate to hear the terminology that we're used to, which is, well, they got to pay their dues. There's one thing with making an intern do some extra work around the office and seeing if they really want it. There's another thing with degrading a person to show you have power over them, and you could flip a switch on and off at any time. That's what he was doing to those young kids. There's no way that you tell these people, hey, I want some cheesecake. Go walk 2.5 to 3 hour walk one way. And then 3 hours the other. Like, go ahead. I ain't want to interrupt
it just no, it's fine. It just, when he's doing things like that, that's on a lower level. But do you understand like how degrading that was? Like, if I was one of those kids' parents, especially being a father now, I don't even know how he's still walking around, like just untouched. But clearly, he had the money to do it. But I think this puts him. He ain't coming back from this, dog. I keep saying this, and I've seen people, even people on the Stephen A. Smith show and other various platforms. They've all said the same thing. He cannot come back from this. This is bad, though. Did you read the reports in there? I read the beginning pages and I stopped reading. It was as bad as when Breonna Stewart, if anybody knows who she is in Liberty, I don't want to go into the long haul, but she basically was talking about how when she was abused, and she wrote an open letter, and the first, I want to say 2 pages, I was done. I didn't want to read anymore. She opened up about what really happened to her, going, on the way to college. I forgot, but it may have been high school. I don't know. Anyway, point of the matter, she talked about her situation. It was very hard to read, and I couldn't even get through it. The same thing with Cassie, and there's more reports come out.
I saw another a model just released something in the news today saying what happened in 2003. But go ahead.
Yeah, but he talked about Cassie, her, not to be graphic, but his time in a month they saved that to what are you doing? What are you doing? But, you know, it's funny, like, let me say this. Gene Dale made a good point, and you don't condone domestic violence at all, period. But you do know that things happen. So, for example, when Ray Rice, this was way worse than that Ray Rice video, right? At the time, they were drunk, and she spit on him. That's a little, so when he react, and nobody's condoning what he did, but you kind of see where that was going to go. Where it just like she was just trying to get up out of there, and you went chasing her down. You chasing her down the aisle and all this, and you kicking her. And then the way he was doing, son, he was kicking her like it was a football game.
Yeah.
Did you see it? Like 2 or 3 times, grabbed her by the throat, threw her down on the ground, and started kicking her like it was a football game. Then when he did, and then dragged her back into the room. And then when he was sitting there, I guess they said I don't know what he threw at her, but he was sitting there and he took and threw something at her. And I'm looking at this like, yo, what you doing? What are you doing? So who's gonna want to affiliate themselves with somebody like that? Come on, man. Like you can't come back from that. You know what I mean?
And let me say this, because we talked about it once, twice, and I don't want to regurgitate what other journalists are saying to make it sound like the same thing. The thing that I said 6 months ago when we covered this topic was, there's always been some crazy allegations towards him since the 90s, going back to that college party.
Yeah.
And he tried to absolve himself of what happened with the college party, where those kids got trapped and unfortunately led to a lot of deaths. Then you brought up the big situation. Then there's the lock situation, where you were pretty much, as they said, robbing those young artists and treating them how the people that you speak against, because there's that whole black excellence thing. You know, come rock over with Bad Boy because we for black excellence, but that's a whole nother podcast or whatever. There has always been reports around him before the Cassie situation. People stuck by him because they felt, well, this is Puff. He's $100 millionaire or a billionaire. We need to hold him up as a shining example, because that's all we heard in the media when the reports came out about Cassie. People got to be honest. Oh, she's just trying to get money out of him. I know everybody's seen them comments.
Yeah.
She just wants to settle. Now the video comes out, everybody's like, oh, damn, I guess she wasn't lying. Same thing with R. Kelly. I remember hearing for the longest. I got a post on my Facebook like 2012, before the documentary came out. I posted something by R. Kelly. I got 1 like, no comments, because nobody wanted to believe it.
Right.
I'm like, do y'all not hear people from his community in Chicago talking about he used to pull up the high schools before this? Nah, it's R. Kelly. Y'all tripping.
Yeah.
People are saying the same thing for years.
Facts.
But it took a documentary to be put in your face to say, all right, enough's enough. We need to get him out of here.
Right.
It's taking too long to get these cats out of the paint that we hold up and revere within our. And I'm not saying tear everybody down. I don't want that to get lost in the translation.
Right. Yeah.
Just tear everybody, because there are false accusations. But with R. Kelly and Diddy, these ain't no once or twice accusations. This is a long history with these cats. Go ahead.
And let me say this, and this is an unpopular opinion. I do know, like, how can I put this without trying to offend anybody? Sometimes, even though it's an accusation, doesn't mean it's always the truth. And sometimes maybe a person makes a mistake. That clearly wasn't the first time. So,
Can we chime on that?
Yeah.
I want to also put this in a certain way without, because it's not my place to speak on somebody else's business.
Right.
So let's just hypothetically say a childhood friend of mine, I'm not going to name no names, went through a domestic violence issue.
Right, yeah.
No names. When you see what's on that tape with Cassie, how comfortable he felt in broad daylight, knowing there's cameras around.
Wow.
That tells you that he done that in other places behind closed doors because of how comfortable he was.
Yep. Super facts.
Again, I'm not putting nobody's situation out there, but I seen somebody I grew up with in a DV situation, domestic violence situation. When they get comfortable being abusive, they'll do it anywhere. Broad daylight, in front of people, behind closed. Puff looked like that was rehearsed. Like, oh, I'm just kicking her in the face. Like how did you? How did you not realize? And I'm not saying he should have did it behind closed doors, but just the thought pattern of, oh, hey, yeah, we're out in the hallway, and I know there's cameras, but so what? She's trying to get away.
Yeah.
What did you think was going to happen?
Yeah. Yeah. And in the hotel, I think what was disturbing about that video is that first the video, like, how did it even get to his hands? Like,
I want to touch on that before we.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
So when the reports came out that the footage was from 2016, I think everybody said in unison, how did it take 8 years to get out?
Yeah.
I don't mean to make lighthearted of this or turn this into a joke, but 8 years ago, I had a better hairline. Yeah. 8 years ago, I was about 30 pounds lighter. Yeah. 8 years ago, my two youngest kids, I got 3 kids, my 2 youngest kids wasn't born.
Right. Yeah.
I know 8 years isn't long, but it's like a lifetime of withholding evidence.
Yeah.
What should the liability be in this type of situation, even if we take Puff out of it? But you have some damaging information. You caught a domestic violence. You caught somebody getting shot, and you just held on to the tape for ransom for 8 years. What type of consequences should those people have?
They need to be tried for that. I know statute limitations because I think they've already came out and said the police in that area said, yo, ain't nothing we can do. Mm-hmm. Like, it took way too long for it to even come out. We can't go back and charge them. But it's two things. One, I don't know how they got that tape. That's one. I don't know how they got, somebody leaked that tape. If I was Puff, not that he needs any defense, I would try to find out who got that tape. Like, I want to know where that tape came from.
When they raided the house, that's where they got it from.
That's crazy. And this is how I know, and let me tell you, this is how I know it's bad. You know why I know it's bad? If you ever look at Michael Vick's situation, when his cousin got pulled over that day, just follow me, it only take a few seconds. He had something in the car he shouldn't have had. He gave Vick's address thinking, oh, I'll get past this. They'll leave me alone because it's Michael Vick's address. The cops went in there looking for drugs. And they found something in the back that didn't look right. And they said, yo, you got to go back in there. Let me tell you, they were going to drop that case. If you ever look at the documentary on ESPN, go check it out. They were going to drop that case. I forgot who made a call, but the feds got involved. And the feds went back there to go and look in that back to see what was going on. And that's when they figured it out. That was dogfighting. Whenever the feds get involved, that's when it's never going to work out. Meaning this isn't going away. So meaning remember with Cassie, they said two things. Let me backtrack to what you said. First of all, they said with Cassie, that when he settled out of court, they said that couldn't have been the first time Cassie approached him. That or whoever for Cassie represented him, like, yo, you better cut this check or we're gonna come public with it. You got cocky because I'm pretty sure this isn't the first time he's been approached or stepped to about it.
Well, you saw the Instagram post where the truth is gonna come to the light.
Yeah.
People are pinning false allegations against he was lying to the very end.
Yeah.
And I seen people like that be 100% guilty. They'll look you straight in the face. And until you hold out the mirror and say, I got all the evidence, they'll look at you and say, you sure?
Yeah.
That's what he did with that Instagram post. But go ahead.
And no, and what I'm saying is that, like, Homeland Security came looking for you. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Once the feds are involved, it's over. So if I was his lawyer, I'd be like, yo, look, we can fight this, but we just got to find out what they're going to come with. So they're basically, I can tell you right now what the lawyer's doing. He's basically just sitting there telling Puff, just chill out, lay low. We're going to see what they bring to the table. He saw that videotape. So he knows, like everybody else, now they didn't ruin your public opinion. This is what the feds do. They didn't ruin your public opinion. So if you want to go to trial, that image is never going to go away. That's the image that the people judging you are going to have in their mind. So they know what they're doing. This is not good. If I was him, whatever pleas first thing I tell my lawyer, whatever they charge us with, find out what we can get. Like what it is. If I don't take the plea and I do take the plea, meaning like if it's just like 30 years like R. Kelly, man, I might as well just go ahead and fight it. But if it's something where a fact of like I can take a plea and get a few years, then that's what I'm going to take. You're not going to get out of this. You're not. And I'm trying not to be negative, But I'm just saying, you're not going to get out of this. This is bad. Let me tell you also, it's also concerning. There's a lot of people that was around him that seems to be real quiet right now.
Give an example.
Like Rock Nation.
Oh.
You're at those brunches, you with Jay, you all up in the videos, you with the games, you're at the games with him. I don't hear Jay really talking too much. Now I don't know if it's silent support he's giving, but you don't seem to see him around. Let me also make this clear. That's an alarming thing, and I got a feeling if Puff goes down, he ain't gonna be the only one that's gonna go down. I'm pretty sure he's gonna start bringing a lot of other people down with him. Like, oh, you want to bring me down? Well, this is what he was doing. This is what she was doing. She was involved. He was involved. He's going to bring a whole bunch of people down.
What was that model, Gloria Velez? Who was her baby father name that everybody know, the R&B singer that said, oh, Puffy know what it is because he was around at the time. And
Aaron Hall. Yeah, okay.
A situation like that.
Yeah.
For everybody that don't know what I'm insinuating, go look up what's his name? Aaron Hall and Gloria Velez, and you'll get the gist of what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's where we're at with Diddy. And like I said, it's been 30 years in coming with him, and
it's one thing. Like I said, I'm not condoning anything. If he was younger, it's like with Chris Brown. Nobody liked what he did, and he's rebuilt his image. And I'm not condoning, but he was a kid. He was a child, and he lost his temper, and clearly he had to go through the ringer and learn that that's just not what you're supposed to be doing. You a grown-ass man.
Yeah, like,
you almost 40 years old, putting your hands on this chick.
Well,
what you doing?
We can do the math. So they said when they met, he was 37 going on 38, and she was 19.
Damn.
Yeah, so there's the whole power dynamic in age. He's in his 50s now. So when that incident happened, I could do quick math. 8 years, he was at least mid-40s. Puff ain't no young cat. He's like mid-50s.
He's 54.
Thank you.
He's 54?
Biggie would have turned 52 the other day.
Jesus.
So Puff is 54. So when that tape got leaked in 2016, he was already a middle-aged grown man. So we're not talking about somebody in their 20s, their 30s, their late 30s, or their early 40s. We're talking about a middle-aged old man. Compared to, as you said, we're not condoning the Chris Brown and Rihanna thing, but he was 19 and he grew from that.
Yeah.
We're not seeing growth within Puff. We're seeing, this is who I am, and I try to bury it with my money and power. And the universe said no.
Yeah.
I'll say this, if that's what it takes to be in the entertainment industry, I'd rather be a 9-to-5 worker and do this.
Yeah.
If that's on the other side of that door, like we hear, like, you know, the Hassan Campbells and the stories of there's a door, and on the other side of the door, that's what they do over there.
Mm-hmm.
If that's on the other side of the door, I want no parts of it.
It's the parties. What are you doing, dude?
And that's one thing, and I can see here, that's one thing with either Gene Dale or whatever podcast I was listening to earlier, was like, now since we have the confirmation, all the other stories, we have to put back on the table. They're no longer conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
As you said, the parties, the swinging, the abuse to the other baby mothers like Misa. And,
oh, my God. I heard stories about that a long time ago. Yeah.
The one, Kim Porter. Rest in peace to Kim Porter. Now all that's back on the table because we heard those stories for years.
Yeah.
From Gene Dale and other people like Mark Curry that spoke up. Mark Curry been speaking up since 2009.
Yep.
The reason why I'm emphasizing that, because there was some people that said nobody spoke up. No. Mark Curry,
Gene Dale, for years before COVID, nobody would listen. They were ringing the alarm. Yep.
Everybody thought Mark Curry was just trying to get a book published because Mark Curry came out with a book.
Yeah. And
he was putting it out there in 2009.
Yeah.
Gene Dale got on YouTube before it was popular, probably 2016 and 17. And everybody thought they was clout chasing.
And Mace, I remember Mace talked about, Mace wanted out too. I mean, that's why, now it makes sense why he got out of there. He wanted out. I know 50 Cent and talked about, he's like, when he was around writing, because a lot of people don't know, he wrote that joint. He wrote Puff's verse on that joint with Black Rob and G Dep. And I remember 50 said, yo, he's making me uncomfortable. Like, talking about he wanted to take me shopping. He's like, that's why I knew I had to get away from this dude. Like, yo, you ain't moving right. Like, something wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? So it just, you know, you out here being goofy and showcasing goofy behavior, man. People don't really want to roll with you.
Under the guise of black excellence. And I'm going to keep saying that's what's making this worse.
They keep saying, and I don't want to hear, well, Puff was looking to buy BET. That's what it was. No. This ain't.
I don't want to hear that.
This ain't coming from that. Cassie had been. I don't know what, because I think she didn't even really want to be involved with it.
She tried to move on.
I think she tried to move on her life, but I think they stepped to her. I don't know why. Something triggered this. He did something to somebody that triggered this to say, yo, we gonna go. Somebody pointed him in direction. Somebody pointed him in the direction and said, you might want to go talk to Cassie. Trust me, you're gonna find what you're looking for. Because it just doesn't make sense. Like this, because I don't think she was really on board. And they took her phone, they seen stuff. I mean, you over here recording. What's wrong with you?
Oh, Jaguar White. Well, yeah, people try to say she was crazy.
She's crazy, but it seems like all the stuff she was talking
the truth.
Is all it came to like everything.
I forgot who told the story of why she cut her hair into that mohawk.
Oh, really?
Jaguar White or Gene Dale broke down why she really cut her hair off. It was him. And then also the story came out about why she got implants, and then he forced her. After the implants, he said he didn't like them and had the surgeon retake the implants out a week later. Do you know what that does to somebody's body?
What, Cassie? I didn't even know that.
He said he pressured her into getting implants, allegedly. Mm-hmm. Said he didn't like them and told the surgeon to take them out a few days later. Mm. You know how sick that is?
That's crazy.
But
damn, she was going through all that. And I couldn't, they were saying it too. They was like, yo, you can't really tell. She seemed like she was, in a good space. But damn.
Well, we dedicated enough time to the Diddy topic.
Yeah, let's just say this at the end of the day. It don't look good for him. And you know what? The only thing I felt bad is when they ran down on his kids. It's like they putting guns in his face. And all that.
What's the little one name? He like 18, Justin? 19. I know you're trying to stick up for your pops, and I get it because we all ride for family members. You might want to stick out of this because as soon as you release that diss track, that CNN dropped the footage a day later. Because he released a diss track about people's. Yeah. What's his name?
It was the 50.
Yeah. Try to diss 50 Cent.
50 will break him with one punch.
Well, it ain't the physical violence. Right, it's the psychological. Like, you're 18, 19. You don't know what your pops was out here doing. And I'm not saying don't stick up for your family members. But you got to call a spade a spade. Like, this is like, yo, you my pops, but we got to let this play out.
Yeah.
You jumping out the woodwork looking crazy. But, only thing I could say is I pray for his kids because Lord knows what they're going through. He got young kids. He got twin daughters. He got a little one that's like an infant. And then even your sons. I know some of his sons are grown, but just in general, outside of them, let me put them aside and focus on the victims like Cassie and others. His baby mother, Misa, rest in peace, Kim Porter, and whoever else was affected in the Sean Combs web. My prayer to them is that they get the justice that they deserve, however they deem it fit, whether it be money, whether it be him going to jail or whatever. So whoever was caught up within the Sean Combs terror, because that's what it was them being terrorized, artists included, because he didn't want no problems with the locks when they called up the Hot 97.
Yeah,
you didn't want to put your hands on them.
No.
But
Styles P threw a chair at him.
Yeah. You didn't want no problems with them. So whoever was caught up in the Sean Combs terror, I hope they get all the justice they deserve. And I'll leave it at that.
Facts. There's not, like, last thing I'll say, there's not one lawyer that I've found and came across yet that's like, yo, he can win this case. They all telling, like, yo, this is bad. And he better hope that he don't get the same time that R. Kelly got.